Good morning and welcome back to another Farmer Tan devotional. I'm glad you're joining us this week. This week we're going to be in John chapter 13 as well as Matthew chapter 5. And we're going to start off with maybe picture what do you think when you think about service? Someone who is a servant. What kind of image does that bring to mind? And so we're going to talk about Jesus in a couple instances, talking how to be a servant to other people and how important he views that. So in John chapter 13, starting in verse 12, leading up to this, Jesus had just washed his disciples' feet. And after that story, he says this: after washing his feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, "Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. I tell you the truth, slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them." So he's saying, even though you hold me in such high regard here, this is something I want to pass on to you. This is something I am telling you that is important. You should practice this and carry it out. And so, kind of holding that thought, let's flip over to Matthew chapter 5, towards the end of the Sermon on the Mount. That's in verse 38. It says, "You have heard the law says that the punishment must match the injury, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, offer the other cheek also. If you are sued in court and your shirt is taken away from you, give your coat too. If a soldier demands that you carry his gear for a mile, carry it 2 miles. Give to those who ask, and don't turn away from those who want to borrow." Now, a lot of people kind of look at this passage and maybe Jesus' ministry in general and think, well, Christianity doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to be a pushover. Someone takes my shirt, I don't want to give them my coat. But it's all you got to think about, kind of the mindset Jesus is trying to teach here. We talked about this in Bible study, our men's Bible study group. And think about, if someone takes your shirt, but you're offering your coat, you go from being a victim to being back in control. You're saying, okay, if you take my shirt, hey, I'm not, take my coat as well. And if someone's carrying a gear, carry it for 2 miles. Well, now that's back in my control. I am offering you this to give you this service. And just think about what that does for the other party. Maybe they came in with malice and you show them grace and compassion, what that can do and how that can lead them to Christ. So it kind of takes you from that victim mentality to the victor mentality, right? It's you're always staying in control. And Jesus, if you look through his ministry, was never a pushover. So for kind of those people who think that being a servant means being less than, and maybe being a Christian means being put underneath, think of it this way: do you look at a horse any less than when it's broke to ride than if it's wild? Well, probably not. But isn't the horse kind of serving your will? Isn't it kind of helping you do what you want and going through it? And it shouldn't be any different for people. I mean, think about who you think would make a better husband: the one who serves his wife or the one who expects his wife to serve him solely. So it's just kind of something to think about. Jesus washed his disciples' feet, and he thought that was an important lesson to teach. If anybody had the authority to kind of hold it over people, it was Jesus, and he didn't choose to do that. And he told us that instead of maybe thinking that we're too good to do anything, if someone takes our coat, you know, our first instinct is to get it back and then take something more from them, right? Because that's what they wanted to do to us. So it's just kind of Jesus shaping our mindset from what is kind of natural to us. So I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining us.